Hi, welcome back to Cbse Board Economics. My name is Saddam Hussain. Today is the fourth episode of Class 11 Economics. Let's recollect what we have covered so far in microeconomics. The first topic we discussed was the basic economic problem. What is basic economic problem? How does it arise? To recollect, basic economic problem is the problem of choice because of unlimited wants and limited resources which have alternative uses. The second topic we discussed was what are the central problems of an economy? The central problems of the economy there are three central problems: what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Then we discussed explain the problem of what to produce and how much quantity. Let's refresh our memory. Since the economy cannot produce all the goods and services it wants to produce, the economy has to decide what goods should be produced and how much quantity of them. The economy has to decide whether to produce luxury goods or necessities, whether to produce capital goods or consumer goods, whether to produce military goods or civilian goods. And we discussed the guiding principle for the economy in case of what to produce and how much quantity. The guiding principle is the economy has to decide to produce only those maximum commodity which can satisfy maximum wants of the people. So we summed it up also that Indian economy produces more of necessities rather than luxury goods, more of consumer goods rather than military goods, more of necessities rather than luxury goods. Then in the next episode, we discussed the second central problem, how to produce. How to produce, we discussed, basically deals with the techniques of production. We already discussed there are two techniques available for an economy to produce the commodities. One is labor intensive technique of production, the other one is capital intensive technique of production. Under labor intensive, we use more labor and less capital. Under capital intensive, more capital and less labor. We also discussed here the guiding principle for the economy is to choose that technique of production with which it can produce a commodity at the least possible cost. I'm sure you must have followed it. Let's move further. Today we'll be discussing the third central problem of the economy. That is, for whom to produce. This also we can call it as theory of distribution or factor pricing. So maybe looking strange to you. What exactly is for whom to produce? I'll show you this. First, follow this. What to produce is simple. We decided we need more of necessities than luxury goods. How to produce also we decided. Labor intensive rather than capital intensive because plenty of labor available in India. What exactly is for whom to produce? For whom to produce, please keep in mind, for which section of this society we have to produce the goods. Or let's put it this way to make it clear. To produce any goods, I've already told you that we need four factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. We call them as four factors of production. I repeat, to produce any good or to produce any commodity or goods and services, You need 4 factors of production. They are very important. Keep in mind 4 factors of production. Follow this carefully because they will help you in higher education. Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Without these 4 factors of production, you just can't produce anything. We can sum up all the resources of the economy into these 4 factors: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. Keep that in mind. Whether you're producing luxury goods or necessities, you need these 4 factors of production. So that means when you produce any commodity, whether it is a car or whether it's a mobile phone or whether it's a food grains or clothes, or for that matter anything, we need these 4 factors: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. So obviously they have a share in it. So for example, let's say someone has produced a pen. To produce a pen, you need land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. Without this, you can't produce. What it means, the pen is produced in the factory. So land, factory building. To produce pens, we need labor. To produce pen, we need capital. That is infrastructure, machines. The firm must have borrowed money from the banks to buy the machines. To produce pen, we need entrepreneur, the one who organizes this entire production. So land, labor, capital. So let's understand this concept. They produced a pen with the help of these 4. So they produced a pen and sold it for 10 rupees. So they have a share in this pen, all the 4 factors of production. So this 10 rupees has to be distributed among them as rent to land, wages and salaries to labor, interest to the capital, the money which you borrow to buy machines from the banks, and entrepreneurs should get some profits. That we call them as factor payments or factor incomes. So we are discussing this today. Understand it. For whom to produce basically deals with the distribution of the entire national income of the country or national product among the 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, because they have a share in it in terms of rent to land, wages and salaries to labor, interest to the capital, and profits to the entrepreneur. So that is this problem: for whom to produce. So for whom to produce, basically factor pricing or theory of distribution, land, these are the factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. So this we pay rent to land, labor, wages and salaries, interest to the capital, and entrepreneur gets profits. So what is the guiding principle here? We see the guiding principle. The guiding principle is that we should distribute the national income or national product in such a manner that important and urgent wants of the people should be satisfied. You distribute among these 4 factors that important, not that you exploit the laborers without giving any wages and salaries to them. The economy cannot develop. That is why it's a central problem: for whom to produce. So the guiding principle is we should distribute the national income or national product among these 4 factors: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, in such a way that important wants of the people should be satisfied, that it should be given proper rent, labor, we should not exploit the wages and salaries, capital, interest, and entrepreneurs should get profits. I repeat once again to make you clear. So you already understood the first central problem, what to produce and how much quantity. That was pretty simple. You understood how to produce, labor intensive, capital intensive. That's also pretty simple. And now this is a bit complicated: for whom to produce. Or in some of the books you must have read it. So the economy has to decide, so for which section of the society the goods should be produced, for whom to produce. Of course, what it means, if the national income is properly distributed among them, of course, even the laborers can afford luxury goods. So that comes out to be for whom to produce. So which section of the society? Are there more rich people or more people? If the national income or national product is not properly distributed, so obviously most of the population or laborers, so the standard of living will be very low. So we have to produce very basic necessities, cheap commodities in the economy. So now I sum it up, the whole thing, for whom to produce. For whom to produce basically deals with the distribution of national income among the four factors of production, that is land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship, because they have a share in it. In terms of rent to land, wages and salaries to labor, interest to the capital and profits to the entrepreneurship, because they help in producing the national product or national income. So it has to be properly distributed among the four factors of production. That's why it's called theory of distribution or factor pricing. So the guiding principle for the economy is that we should distribute the national income in such a way that important and urgent wants of the people should be satisfied. That means we should not try to exploit the labor. So it should be properly distributed among the four factors of production. To put it in perspective, all the things that there are three, I'll just give you a recap of all the things. There are three central problems: what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. One line: what to produce, whether to produce luxury goods or necessities. The economy has to decide. After deciding it, then the economy has to decide how much quantity of these. For whom to produce basically deals with the techniques of production, labor intensive or capital intensive technique of production. Which technique we should use? The guiding principle is choose that technique with which you can produce a commodity at the least cost possible. For whom to produce basically deals with the distribution of national income or national product among the four factors of production, that's land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship. That's all we have time for this episode. Till we meet next time, it's goodbye from Saddam Hussain. Best of luck for exams. Please don't forget to share, subscribe, like and comment. Till we meet next time, goodbye.